You don't have to tell the person that's caused you pain that they've caused you pain. You can relieve that pain yourself without them relieving it for you. And usually where you get pain from is not where you get relief from. And so that has been a lesson and a process that I'm learning at the moment, that I don't have to tell you when you've hurt me. And if I choose to forgive you in myself, we can continue the relationship. But if I don't, then I'm faking the relationship and it's not benefiting me or you. And so really, forgiveness is not usually a two-person process. It's usually a you process. And until you figured it out, nothing the other person will say will fuel that.
I realized how much my inner child has been crying out lately. How insignificant she feels. Feeling deeply alone around people who are supposed to love her. Not fully seen, because they never liked me. Diving into my creative side, but I can still feel the resistance of expressing. Still feel the resistance of, are they even going to listen to me? The biggest breakdown right about now, I might still keep crying. I don't know. But this is just realizing a lot of things. I think a lot of the main thing that's not talked about, well, I know I talk about it, but what I don't see all the time when people talk about is the stages of when you're healing or just going through your journey. You start to realize a lot of stuff. And I guess the first thing I said, I was like, I'm angry. The first stages I had was denial, but even though the denial tried to creep up where I was like, okay, it's not that serious or whatever, you say things to minimize your pain, which is why I posted that video about dismissing things. I couldn't deny it. So that's how I knew, okay, you've been doing the inner work, because usually the old version of you, your coping mechanism usually is to deny things, and I tried and I couldn't deny it. Like I couldn't, because I could feel everything. And I have been for years. Like I stopped smoking in 2016. So, and that smoking wasn't even to numb. Like I was just having fun. It was not numbing. I don't numb that way. I usually numb through watching like movies, which they call stimming. I'm sad. My eyes are puffy and they're itchy right now because I freaking hate crying, but I just realized, like, I don't want family members that bully you. And I had to do something last year that I was really, really avoiding doing, which was having to go back to the home that I left in 2018. So I was gone for a long time. Oh yeah, I'm about to cry again. And I was like, what do I look like? Like, I know I teach people stuff, but I know there's other ways to teach. And something said, and not something, I know it was a spirit, obviously. I'm a psychic medium. There's just dead people all the time around me. They were like, just talk. And I'm boo crying, and they're like, just talk about it. And I'm like, what? And they're like, just talk about it. Just turn your camera on and talk about it. And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, just talk about it. Like, this is embarrassing. I think recording this is hard because as an empath and someone that's super sensitive, I just like, I hate crying because there's just so many tears. It's so many tears, so many emotions, so many. And you feel everything. Coming back to this house, it's like it triggered every single wound possible. And it triggered every single childhood wound I had with these people, because I realized these people, they have not changed one bit. Like, being around my mom, my stepdad, my grandma, like family members in general, cousins, like everyone's the same. Like, nothing's changed since for years. But even like before I left in 2018, I'm like, nobody's changed at all. Like, nothing spiritually, mentally, emotionally has changed. Like, no one's taking care of themselves. Everyone's avoiding something. And then here I am trying to, again, as that little girl, tell your mom, like, you know, you hurt me, right? Like, you're choosing a man over yourself, so you choose a man over your kids. You don't want to see it that way, but I'm the manipulative one because your husband, whoever, made you feel like it's your daughter causing the issues when he's the one using you because he wants attention, because he didn't get attention from his mom and his dad. So you're easy target because you give him all the love and attention he didn't get growing up, and you don't stand up to him. So, I mean, and then you have daddy issues because you didn't get attention from your dad nor your mom. So it's like you guys are both doing the same thing. So maybe you guys both belong together. Two manipulative, sad people who don't know how to have an identity for themselves without needing attention. And then the crazy thing is, since I was little, you know, I've always been a really gifted girl. And like I said, my grandmother was the only person that knew. Nobody else knew. Yeah, no one else knew. My grandmother knew, though. She knew. And I would hide. And I realized, I was telling my therapist, I was like, I hid a lot. I said any witchy things or talking to dead people, I said I would do it in my room. Or I would do it outside, and I would have like my burning bowl, and I would always like put things in the fire and talk to them that way. Or talk to them and, like, why are you mad at the child who is innocently brought into this world and they didn't do anything? Like, children are so innocent when they come into the world, but you're mad because you're a parent now, because you are responsible now. You gotta emotionally, mentally, spiritually be there for your child. And I realized a lot of parents try to give their children what they didn't have, but you also have to be like super careful with that, because then it's like you're vicariously living through your children. Or sometimes the parents become envious because it's like, you got everything I didn't have, you need to be grateful, all these things. It's like you're angry at the child because you're giving them everything you ever wanted, but you're mad because you didn't get it. It's a very strange thing I see. Or you have parents that, like, I know for what I see in my family, I'm gonna just do it like that, like, the men, oh my God, I've noticed, like, that's a generational issue in my family. Men are being so hyper independent to where the women feel like if they don't, it's weird, because how do I explain this? It's like they want to feel like these strong, independent women, but I haven't met any type of woman like that in my family yet. Like, it comes off in such a defensive way. It's not like I'm independent, or is it a word, interdependent? It's not like I'm independent, but I also know that I'm going to need support. So I'm open to having interconnected relationships, but being in a healthy connection with someone that I don't need, but I do want, and I know can help me and support me in different ways. And it doesn't have to be financial. It could be emotional, spiritual, or whatever, you know? I've never seen that in my family. And I told my counselor, I told a bunch of my friends about it, and we were all like, bro, how is it that we're all like living the same reality but different? Why is it that they don't want to see that? And I realized as a young girl, it's like I could see my mom's potential. I was like, my mom has potential. Like, I have her gifts when it comes to like creativity. Well, both my mom and my dad, I have both their gifts. Obviously, it's in my blood. So it's like, how you can't be mad at me because I want to harness my gifts. I want to write. I love visual stuff. I'm doing things. I was modeling. I'm doing things that you could have done and stuff. Don't compare yourself to me, because we're totally different people. I may have your traits or whatever, but we're totally different people, and I do things differently. I'm more vocal than you are. You shut down all the time. You were never confrontational. You didn't protect me from men. Fucking, that was abuse. Looking back, I was like, even my brother choking me, and you guys asking, what did you do? Like, are you fucking serious? You enabling fucking freaks. And then, as I remember, I said this, I was like, I remember writing in my journal and even talking to my therapist, I said my mom is with the devil. I was like, that's the devil. And my grandmother, she got hints about it. Like, my grandmother's very intuitive, and she was like, something's off, like, something's not right. And she knew something was going on, but she was like, you didn't really talk about what was happening. You just kind of stayed in the corner. And it's like, because nobody listens to me. And it's like, no one's listening. So it's like, what the fuck do you mean? And if I tell you, you're trying to justify their actions, or you're shift blaming, and you're making me feel like I'm the crazy one. But I thank God every day I had friends who were like that's literally what kept me afloat with my friendships. My friendships were my safe haven. Like, looking back, I always had friends because those were the only people, or even the toxic ones too, but those were the only people that listened to me. My old teachers, I had teachers I would go to. I would hate to come home because I was like, I don't want to go home. I don't want to go home. Like, I used to want to just stay in fucking class. Like, that's why I was a teacher's pet. Like, I would just stay in class. Even if I wasn't doing anything, I would just stay in class. I would find a teacher and I would tell them, like, can I just stay in here? And some of them knew, like, you don't want to go home. And even the people, what I hated the most growing up was, like, people would see the material shit. Like, oh, you got the material shit. You got the house. Your mom got cars and stuff. I'm like, y'all are so stupid, bruh. Y'all are so fucking stupid. Like, it makes no fucking sense. Like, stop looking at the material shit. Anybody can have fucking money. Hey, maybe not anybody, but people can get money. That does not make them good people. Like, look at the rich people we have in America. They're fucking billionaires. They're not good people. I was like, imagine you're given material shit, but what you're longing for is to be understood. Your mind, your thoughts, your emotion, your pain, your anger, your interests, your creativity, the way that you see the world. And it's crazy because it's like, my family does not know me. They do not know me. And it's crazy because they try to make it seem like they know me. They try to make it seem like we're family. We're close. We're not. I haven't been around in such a long time, and I hate crying because, like, this.
Why is it always about everybody else? This is for me, not them. And if they listen, that's a plus. But it's me who needs the space. The last time I fully expressed my transparency, there was no space held, just dismissive behavior, gaslighting, and me getting more and more increasingly angry. And then I remembered this one saying that I told myself: stop hurting yourself, child. You know this familiar feeling, and it's about time you put this to rest. You have to value yourself over others who do nothing but mistreat you with disrespect. Now, when I said that, the first thing that came over me was my grandmother. My abuelita. She was the first thing that popped in my mind when that came up, and I knew that those weren't my words, those were her. It was her speaking through me in a time of crisis, telling me that she's still there. That's the burden of being a psychic medium, I guess. The dead loved ones are always there. They don't always show themselves, but they're there. I wrote this in my Substack, but when I wrote it, everything disappeared. It was gone. And for a second, I was defeated. I didn't know what to do. I sat there confused, and I just said, okay, let's just go outside. And so I did. I know there's other people that have never been listened to, never been heard, who feel like there's no point of continuing their journey, but most times your soul is just asking for you to listen to itself, and or to go towards people and or do things so that you can see yourself. Whether it's through writing, it's through video, it's through whatever. If you really truly value yourself, You'll do anything to express it, to see yourself, to take care of yourself. You will also understand that not everybody is going to understand you. You're also going to understand that not everyone is going to choose you. And you can't expect them to choose you, especially when they are committed to misunderstanding you and not choosing themselves. It is not your job to force them. It is not your job to convince them. Everybody is responsible for their own choices. So sometimes you have to sit down and really think about what choices are you making. Are you being intentional with your time? Are you listening to yourself? Are you giving yourself space to feel? Are you giving yourself space to think outside of the perspective of your own? Are you learning? Are you open to learning? Are you talking about the hard things? Are you letting it out? Or are you just trying to fix everything to rush through it and get over it, only for it to come back 10 times harder? And now you're really lost because you don't know what to do. Deep words, deep words. Thank you, girlies. Feel the love. Feel the love.